Oh man, Kat's funeral took forever. I was waiting for it to be done, just looking at my watch counting down until it was over. But I guess this is all done. You can just pack up your bags and finally leave, huh, Brenda? Now that Dad is dead, you no longer have a right to be living here anymore.
Wait, what? Where is all this coming from?
Just take what you can carry and get out. I won't give you forever to collect all your stuff. And don't think for a second that you can touch any of Dad's things before you go.
Wait, Catherine, I don't understand what this is all about. I mean, you want me to move out? I don't understand what this is about. I thought you and I were going to live in the house that your dad left us.
Really? You really thought that I would ever allow something like that to happen?
I don't get where all of this is coming from all of a sudden.
I mean, you are not going to see a single cent of anything that my dad left me after he died. And if you thought that just because you were married to him means that you get to keep living in this house, you are sadly mistaken. I know that the only reason you married him anyways was to try and get his money. But I'm not going to let you get away with your evil plan to steal what's rightfully mine.
Catherine, how many times have we had the same conversation already? I already told you that I did not marry your father for his money at all. I mean, we've been living together for over a decade now. Why don't you believe me when I say this to you?
How could I ever believe someone like you, huh? I know that you tried to weed your way into my dad's heart, just that so you could try and have control of his wallet. It's obvious that you know my dad owns his own company, and that's why you got with him. I could never trust someone like you.
That isn't true. I fell in love with your father, and he loved me. That's why we got married. I saw how much he cared for your late mother when we spoke about her, and to watch him try so hard to raise you while running his business. Well, I knew that that was a man that I could love and trust for the rest of my life. It is true that your father is a rich and successful man, but I wasn't thinking about any of that when I married him.
Okay then, if you really mean that, then why don't you give up any rights to inherit from my dad then? I mean, if you really weren't after his money, then that shouldn't be a problem, right?
You can't be serious about that, right?
Of course I am. I'm the only one of us who is related to him by blood. If you think I'm going to let some outsider like you to try claim part of this, you've got another thing coming.
Okay, then let me ask you this. If I do that, if I declare that I don't want to inherit anything from your father, will that satisfy you? Will it finally convince you that I didn't marry your dad for his money?
Quit wasting my time with all these stupid questions and just say that you don't want any part of Dad's will. In fact, I bet you're glad he's dead. Now you can finally cash in on his inheritance and live a free life. Or rather, you would have been able to if it weren't for me.
Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. Fine then, I renounce my claim to anything your father might have left in his will. Happy?
That's all I wanted to hear. Now you better get started packing, because I want you out of this house as soon as possible.
I just hope by doing this, you finally realize that I was never interested in your father for his money. Goodbye, Catherine.
Brenda, I just wanted to say that I thought you did really well at the funeral yesterday. I know that you must have a lot on your mind, but I wanted you to know that I think you're doing great so far.
Oh, Samantha, thank you so much for worrying about me like this. It just feels like I had so much on my plate and to get done before the funeral, so I just wanted to thank you for all the help you gave me holding it. It already feels like a weight's been taken off my shoulders now that it's past me.
Of course. It really did feel like this just happened out of the blue. I still don't understand how my boy could do that. Just die before his dear old mom.
Can't imagine how you feel, Samantha. Even now when I think about that, I just remember that Eric was working hard as usual. Although I remember that he was complaining about having these headaches for a while. Maybe if we had tried to go to the doctor about them earlier, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, there is no point in blaming yourself for any of this at this point. All we can do is look forward now. But I know that you did, and would have done anything to be there for my son, so please don't blame yourself for anything, Brenda.
Samantha, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to have you as a mother-in-law.
I doubt he would even listen to you if you suggested he go to the doctor. You know how he could get, also so wrapped up in work and projects, to think that he would die while taking a nap at his desk while working. Maybe it's fitting.
I can't help but think that way sometimes too. If I'm being honest, he looked so peaceful when I found him.
By the way, Brenda, I wanted to talk to you about something if it's not too soon. I was wondering if you would be opposed to me moving in with you with your house.
Oh, do you mean it? You really want me to come live with us?
Well, I just imagine that living in that house just the two of you has got to be a bit lonely, right? And especially since Catherine is going to be graduating and looking for a job soon, I'm sure she'll be wanting to move out. I just thought that you might like it.
Thank you so much for the generous offer, Samantha. I really do appreciate it. But I'm afraid that I'm going to have to turn you down. You see, the thing is, I'm actually about to move out of this house myself.
Wait, you are? But why? Don't you think that this place is just a little too big for Catherine to be living all by herself?
I think that Catherine doesn't want to live with me at all, actually. In fact, it's less that I'm leaving and more like I'm being thrown out of the house.
Catherine is throwing you out of the house? Hold on a second. I don't understand. Did something happen? I mean, the funeral just ended. Why is this happening so suddenly?
I'm not sure. I think that Catherine still seems to think that I only married her dad for his money. She even asked me to renounce my claims to what Eric might have left me and then asked me to leave.
I don't believe it.
I know, I tried to explain to Catherine that she was getting it all wrong, but she just wasn't listening to me one bit. In the end, I just felt like I had no choice but to go along with what she was saying in the hope that it would finally make her listen to me.
You mean that you really renounced your inheritance from Eric? But that isn't fair. You shouldn't have had to do that. I mean, you have just lost your husband too. Doesn't she realize that? You've been by his side for so long, always helping and supporting home. Does Catherine really see no value in that whatsoever?
I'm glad that you've seen me for the wife that I've tried to be for Eric, but I guess Catherine never could.
She probably wouldn't have gotten into that university she's in if you hadn't helped her study and worked on her application together. She was looking at a seriously bleak future before you stepped in and were able to help pull her grades up and turn her around. She isn't even grateful to you for that?
I remember the day that her acceptance letter came in the mail. She opened and announced that she'd achieved it all by herself without help from anyone. I wasn't expecting to take all the credit, but she didn't even thank me once at all for the help that I gave her.
How could she just throw your effort back in your face like that? What's the matter with her?
I think that ever since that day, she's been feeling more and more upset about having me around the house. No matter what I do or how hard I try, I can't see her changing her mind about me. That's why I finally gave up and decided to walk away from what Eric had left me. I think it would do me some good to be on my own for a little while. So please, Samantha, let me have this.
Oh, Brenda, I don't know what to say right now.
Thank you so much for offering to come and keep me company, but I need to take care of myself first.
Hey, Brenda, just what the heck is going on here, huh? I just finished talking to the lawyer handling Dad's estate, and he says that there's practically nothing to even hand out.
You mean that you really didn't know that? Your dad donated most of his estate to charities for education and housing. I mean, even when he was alive, he was always very serious about his charitable work.
I didn't know any of that. You mean to say that Dad was wasting his money giving to people who weren't me? Why would he do something like that? Doesn't he realize that I need the money more than anyone? What was he thinking?
I think that your dad was thinking about all the other children who don't have parents that dote on them like you. I also think that being with me might have moved him, since he seemed to take it much more seriously after we got together.
You mean that this is all your fault? I knew it. I was right this whole time. I knew that you just wanted my dad's money, and that's why you married him.
You know, it's this attitude that you've been having towards me that led to this moment.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
It means that your dad noticed how standoffish you were from me, and it worried him. Obviously, I'm not your biological mother, but he saw the love and effort that I poured into raising you. I think that he saw how I was able to care for a child that wasn't my own, and was inspired to take steps to do something similar for other children. So he called his lawyer and tried to find a way to leave most of his wealth to the worthy causes.
Is that supposed to be some kind of bad joke or something? So then, you're saying that it's all your fault that my dad gave away all of his money. It's your fault that even though I'm his daughter, I'm getting nothing? Why didn't he leave anything for me? Why do these total strangers deserve his money more than I do?
I think that maybe you should be a little more respectful of your father's final wishes. I mean, I think that it's very noble to give away your money to people that you don't know. You should be more respectful for what your dad did.
You think I'm going to praise him for screwing me over like this? I thought that Dad was loaded. I thought that when he died, I was finally going to get all of that money. You have it, don't you? You're trying to hide the money from me right now.
What? Do you really think I'm gonna do that?
Of course I do. It's why none of this adds up. It was probably part of your plan to give up your right to his money that you knew it was all going to these charities. I bet you've embezzled his money and now you're going to try and run away with it. That's why you're acting so cool about this.
I really am not doing anything like that at all. I mean, I can't believe that you would even accuse me of something like that.
Oh, shut up, you old hag. I know the truth. You won't fool me. I know that you're hiding my dad's money from me.
I really am doing nothing of the sort.
I can see through your lies. You're not going to fool me. I want you to hand me over that money right this instant. It's my dad's money, and it was all supposed to be mine. I know that you stole it, and I want it right this instant. You aren't going to get away with this. Now, I've had just about enough out of you. What kind of way is that to talk to someone who raised you? Do you have any idea how upsetting it is to see my granddaughter act this way? Granddaughter? What the heck are you talking about? Unless... Don't tell me that I'm talking to Grandma right now. That's right, you are. And you have got a lot to answer for yourself, young lady. You need to shape up and show your mother some respect. Do you hear me? But, Grandma, she isn't even my real mom. That is nonsense. I have Brenda raise you for over a decade with the patience of a saint. If she isn't your mother, then I don't know what is. But to think that despite all the love and care that she's given to you, you turn around and return it all with hate. You've got some serious growing up to do, young lady. Wait, no, Grandma. You don't understand. Please don't get mad at me. I'm only trying to protect Dad's inheritance from being stolen by Brenda. Stolen by her? Have you lost your mind? Besides, I still don't get why you're texting me on Brenda's phone. This doesn't make any sense. I'm texting you on her phone because her and I right now are together. Brenda told me that she needed a little bit of time to herself, but given all that was going on, I knew that she just needed someone who could really be there for her. I was so worried, and as a mother who just lost her son, I felt I could understand Brenda's grief and went to her. You mean that you're really going to buy this whole act, Grandma? You have to see that she's just a gold digger who was only interested in Dad for his money. You have to know that, right? It's obvious that Brenda's whole personality is just an act. You really have no idea what you're talking about at all, Catherine. Brenda is a sweet woman who has done none of what you've accused her of. She has done so much for this family, and all you've done in return is be horrible to her. Well, I'm not going to sit by and watch it happen. What do you mean? What are you going to do? You want to know why I'm so upset right now? Well, I just have one response to you. I am upset because the woman who loved my son with all his heart, the woman who is like a daughter to me, is being relentlessly bullied by you. Grandma, you don't know what you're talking about. Brenda isn't related to you. She's not really your daughter, you know that, right? And now that Dad is dead, there isn't any point in keeping her around. She's just a nuisance now. It doesn't matter if we're related by blood or now. Family runs so much deeper than that. Honestly, how could you even say such awful things? You make me ashamed to have you as a granddaughter. If you really think that being related by blood matters all that much, you still have got a lot of learning to do. But Grandma, that still doesn't change the fact that we are related and you are my grandma. How can you be taking Brenda's side over mine? You're actually wrong about that. You see, I was never your father's biological mother. So your father and I are, by extension, you and I, were never connected through blood. Wait, are you serious? You mean that I was never related to you in the first place? I thought Dad was your son. He was my son, and I am your grandma. But if you're talking about genetics, then no, we are not related. In fact, I learned when I was younger that I would never been able to have children of my own. Really? But I had no clue about that, Grandma. Well, it's true. So your grandpa and I talked, and we decided to adopt the child. And that, of course, was your father. You're kidding me. This is all news to me. I had no idea that Dad was adopted. Well, I didn't really see any reason to ever bring it up. And we know that even though we weren't still related by blood, we could still be a family. But if you really think that being a family is all about blood you have in your veins, then you might as well forget about me as well. And since you and I aren't related, when I die, you won't be getting anything from me. I'll leave everything instead to Brenda. Grandma, you can't be serious. You're not going to leave everything to her, aren't you? I am, and I am sure that my son wouldn't have minded me doing this one bit. In fact, you probably don't even know this, but I actually own a real estate company that I earn huge amounts of money from even now after I've retired. But it's too bad you're not going to see a penny from that. You own a real estate business? Why don't I know any of this? I had no idea you had all this money, Grandma. Please, you have to forgive me. I'll never say anything mean again. Oh, just can it, will you? The only family I have left is Brenda, my daughter-in-law, and someone who would throw her out of her own home is no granddaughter of mine. From this day on, you are nothing to me. Please tell me that you don't really mean it, Grandma. I don't have anything else to say to a spoiled girl who can't even see all the support she's gotten in her life up to now. I never want to see you again, and don't bother coming to my funeral either. Brenda, please, you have to listen to me. I really am so sorry for everything that I did and said to you. Please let me apologize to you in person so that we can make up. I really need you to talk to Grandma for me and get her to let me back into the family. I need you to tell her that I really need money right now.
You need money right now? What for? I would have thought you'd be doing even better than I was. What do you need money for?
Well, yeah, I did have that job, but I quit after just a few months. I wanted to try and start my own business like Dad did. Or rather, I should say that I already started my business.
Wait, really? You really started one?
That's right, but did you really expect anything less from the girl who got herself into one of the best colleges in the state? And if my dad could do it, then I know that I can too. I don't want to be some office drone following orders. I want to be the queen bee giving the orders.
And you thought that you could handle all this working in your own company for just 3 months?
Well, that's the thing. My business is actually about to announce bankruptcy. We're already so deep into the red. That's why I just need a little shot in the arm to keep things going. Then I know I can turn my business around.
And this is why you wanted your dad's money so badly? I guess the mystery is finally solved.
Brenda, please. I'm being serious. I really need you to talk to Grandma for me. I know that she's loaded and she invests with me. I'll never have to worry about the capital again. You have to do this for me.
Why would I do something for you when we're not even family, though?
Brenda, please don't do this right now.
Well, I'm just repeating what you said. I mean, now that your dad's gone, you and I are nothing to each other, right? After all, I didn't give birth to you and we're not connected by blood, so why would we help you?
Why are you doing this to me? I really need help. Don't you get that?
If you need help, why don't you try working hard and solving your own problems first? You've already chased away the family who would have been happy to help you with this. So now you'll just have to figure this out by yourself.
But I can't do it. Please, I'm so lonely with you and Grandma.
Well, I suppose you should have thought of that before you said what you did. Good luck in the real world, though. After that, Catherine's business only continued to sink lower into debt. Unable to come to either Samantha or I for help, she turned to her father's old business partners for investment. But they were too savvy and knew a bad deal when they saw one. It wasn't long before the company had gone past the point of return and collapsed. As for me, I began spending more time with Samantha, who invited me to her monthly trips abroad that she afforded with the dividends from her company. Because I speak fluent Spanish, she told me that she was paying me for coming along with her as her interpreter, even when we weren't going to a Spanish-speaking country. Either way, I may be widowed, but I'm glad that I have my family to support me.